Yeah, back to our next question. I said I was going to continue in the next video, so this is the next video. So the next question is, or we're still on the same question. So the second part of the question is now, how do you get inspiration as a writer? How do you now start to amass those inspiring prompts that helps you write? Now, the first thing is you must learn to get ideas. You must learn to get ideas from any place, different place at all time. What do I mean by that? There is a book I wrote titled How to Become a Masterful Storyteller, and in that book I detail a lot of things pertaining to this question. Like I expounded and I expatiated, I made an explanation and I expatiated on some certain techniques that would help you get inspiration. Now, how do you get inspiration? Remember, I told you that you need to open your mind to getting ideas from anywhere. A writer will not wait for a perfect time to say, oh, a story just dropped in my head, I want to put it down. Anything can become a story, from watching your child, watching your spouse, or doing something in your house, or taking up an activity, or moving around your building, around your house, or going to the bus stop, meeting people along the way. You see your neighbor reacting to a particular person or a particular animal or a particular thing, or probably, anything can become an inspiration. Even a bird moving in the air is an inspiration. See, the word of a writer is so vast. Like you cannot um you cannot exhaust it. It's inexhaustible. Like you cannot exhaust it. You cannot say, oh, I'm lacking idea. You cannot like idea. See, an idea can come to you in a 1001 way, and that same 1001 way can be multiplied into a million and more because of creativity. One thing about writer is that a writer is always very creative. Now, this story this person is saying, there is a way you will say that it will not even look like this story. You would use a different word, you use a different plot, a different twist to hit. Like you are totally writing something different, and you only got the idea from what the person first said or what the first speaker said. I don't know if you understand me. So try to get ideas from anywhere. You could have a bush plant or a pot shed in your house where you plant little flowers or something. You watch it a day, you watch it like 2 minutes, it gives you an idea of something. That's how you write. And another way is to write with your auditory sense and write with your visuals. You don't just write with your hand and say you are writing. The fluidity that comes with being a writer, or that makes a writer great, is writing with auditory perception, and writing with your visual perception. These two, they help. Like they help your writing come to life. When you begin to use it will look as if you are you are in an entirely different world, where you begin to give picture, you begin to give life to a word. That's what makes a creative writer different from an ordinary writer, because the difference is clear. You write with your auditory, you write with your visual perception. But an ordinary writer will just write because he wants to pass an opinion, he wants to pass a perception, he wants to drop an idea. But no, you are a creative writer and you are going above and beyond than someone who is just learning or just being a writer for the sake of writing. I hope you understand. Now, how do you marry these two objectives I have just said? How do you marry them? How do you marry them? I have some objective or some insights that I have shared here, and I will be listing them out. Now, how do you marry the techniques I told you about, writing orally and visually and getting ideas? How do you marry these two? Like, how do you make these two influence what you do? Number one is this: when you are writing, eh, learn to give your characters. I hope you know what characters is. Learn to give your characters life. I don't want to go too deep so that I won't confuse us in this video. Learn to give your characters life. Like if you're writing about a character in your story, make sure that that character has a name, a background, a picture. Like as the reader is reading, the reader can picture that, oh, this person is actually, I can see this person. Though I'm not seeing the person physically, but I can, I visualize what the person is saying. So it's like you're already inside the story, and that's what you need to do, so that the writer or the reader can feel that um impact. You need to write and make your reader feel involved. And one of the ways is to make your characters come alive. Another thing is you need to use personal experience. See, nothing move people than emotional stories. You need to learn to share your personal experience. I've watched this thing work over and over again. Like I've watched this particular strategy move a writer from the point Z to the zenith. I've watched it happen many times. Personal story as a way of drawing people to like you, to build with you, to trust in you, and to at the most help you, sell your brand. Emotional stories sell a lot. Emotional stories. So learn to use personal experience to share your story. Then another one is always talk about lessons you gain. For example, if something happened to you in the past, maybe in the past few years or months or days, one or two things that would ever remain evergreen in your memory, what lesson do you gain from them? Share your lessons, share your experience about this, talk about it. You are teaching, you are learning, you are inspiring, you are motivating. That is how you actually keep inspiring people, and you gain inspiration also. That's how it works. Another thing is you need to read. I made this the last because it's not the fact that it's the last does not mean that it is the weakest of all. No, it is actually the most strong. It's actually the strongest. Learn to read. Learn to be an avid reader. You cannot be a great writer without being an avid reader. You must learn to read. And when you are reading, you are not just reading a specified book, you are reading any book, anything that comes to your mind, to your table, anything that you find around you is readable. Learn to read. As you read, your mind or your imagination open up to more, creative ideas, and you learn to infix that into the things that you do. So always learn to read. I hope with all of this I have explained, you should have learned one or two about getting inspiration as a writer. Thank you very much.